Welcome back. In an earlier session, we identified and briefly looked at the 5 growth strategies. In this session, we will look at the steps an entrepreneur must take to understand, analyze and create implementation plan for those growth strategies. But first, here is a reminder about the 5 strategies. The first strategy involves selling more of the existing products to existing customers. In this strategy, the entrepreneur is trying to meet unfulfilled demand for her products and services within the existing customers. The second strategy involves increasing prices of existing products and services to increase revenues. The next strategy is about finding new customers who will buy existing products and services so that the revenues go up. In the fourth strategy, the entrepreneur sells new products and services to existing customers. In the fifth and the final strategy, the entrepreneur takes her business to new markets. In this strategy, she sells existing products to new customers. Now that we have reminded ourselves of the 5 strategies to grow a business, let's look at the 5-step process followed by an entrepreneur to implement each of these strategies. In the first step, an entrepreneur looks at those concepts from the 4C+E framework which are relevant to the strategy she is considering to grow her business. This is very important since implementing a strategy will require an entrepreneur to do many tasks related to the concepts covered in the 4C+E framework. Using those concepts, the entrepreneur will ask herself a certain set of questions which will give the entrepreneur an idea if the business is ready to consider the particular growth strategy. If she gets a sense that it is practical to consider the strategy, then she goes to the next step. During the second step, the entrepreneur analyzes the impact of the changes identified during the 4C+E analysis on revenues, costs and required capital in the business. The changes are often to the capabilities of the business among other things. This step requires the entrepreneur to estimate additional costs and the additional capital required to achieve the targeted revenue. In the next step, the entrepreneur performs break-even analysis by taking into account the revised costs. This step is very important. It ensures that the entrepreneur does not ignore her first responsibility, which is to ensure that the business at least achieves break-even while she pursues the growth strategy for the business. The break-even analysis calculations help the entrepreneur do a reality check which tells her if she would be comfortable in achieving the break-even revenue and or sales volume. If the break-even reality check gives the entrepreneur a go-ahead, then she takes the next step, which is about preparing the growth plan. The entrepreneur creates the growth plan using the 4 components which are marketing and sales plan, production plan, people plan and financial plan. In the final step, the entrepreneur creates a set of tasks to complete milestones defined in the growth plan. She then begins the process of executing those tasks and monitor the strategy's outcome. This was a brief overview of the steps an entrepreneur must take to understand, analyze and implement a growth strategy. We will get a better understanding of this 5-step process in the next set of videos when we look at each growth strategy much more closely.